Unless a person lives a very limited life with zero stressors or excitement or growth, it's very likely that they will experience anxiety throughout their whole life. And when these unwanted, intrusive thoughts or swishes of panic reappear, it's important to expect them. Otherwise, you'll be going about thinking, I thought I was better, I thought that I was fully recovered. And that's why I like to talk about when the anxiety symptoms reappear, not if they reappear, right? So, what are we going to do when anxiety shows up again? I would say there's two types of getting better when it comes to facing future stressors. The first one is a type of relief where the symptoms are controlled or managed. So maybe you would avoid things or use coping skills. As an example, someone builds up the courage to start speaking up in small group settings, but they straight up refuse to speak in larger group settings. Or someone works on their fear of driving and they drive to some local shops, but they would never consider driving more than an hour away. But what's missing is that their relationship to anxiety hasn't really changed. Sure, they have definitely lowered their anxiety and they're facing things that used to scare them, but it's still situational and there's still effort getting put towards lowering or minimizing anxiety. In their minds, there's still unappropriate levels of anxiety, meaning when the anxiety symptoms pop up again in the future, they will fear those symptoms. What we're looking for is the ability and willingness to feel those anxious feelings and become less fearful of them, right? Not to become less fearful of the specific anxiety provoking event or situation, but to become less fearful of the feelings that those events bring up. To prepare for the inevitable future anxious feelings, there is things like stress management, so eating healthy, exercising, getting consistent sleep, the classic self-improvement type stuff, but they need to be done in the proper way. So they should be normal, routine, everyday things that you do, not because it lowers your anxiety, but because it makes you feel good. So unlinked to how anxious or stressed you feel at the time. Maybe you run 3 times per week, not because it lowers your anxiety in work meetings, but because it just makes you feel good. Or you try to eat healthy 6 days of the week, not because it lowers your heart rate, but because it makes you feel more energized in general. Some days you'll feel amazing, and some days you'll feel pretty anxious despite doing everything right, and that's completely normal. If you've been overly anxious for a long period of time, it'll take time for things to wind down. What we're looking for is that the anxiety symptoms no longer mean anything bad. They don't carry this danger message and they don't control how we act. A big part of recovery is understanding that anxiety will be in your future and being okay with that.